So we're back with another one from CS50's Introduction to Programming with Python to look at the fourth problem of week 0, which is Einstein. So in a file called einstein.py, implement a program in Python that prompts the user for mass as an integer in kilograms and then outputs the equivalent number of joules as an integer. Assume that the user will input an integer. So this one should be a bit quicker to solve since all we need to do is calculate E equals mc squared for a given input. So the equation would be E equals m times c, or we could say E equals m times c to the power of 2. The double start in Python is essentially a power operator, so it's raising the number on the left to the power of the number on the right. So in this case it's c to the power of 2 or c squared. So I'm going to carry on from the last problem and structure our code into two functions. So we're going to have the main function here, which is going to take the input for us, and at the end it's going to print the result. And then we're going to have another function which we can call calculate, and this is going to take one argument which will be mass. And then we need to make sure we're calling main at the end of our program so that everything works. I'm also going to assign this number to c at the top of our file here, just because the speed of light isn't going to change anytime soon, and this way it's at the top and out of the way. We don't have to worry about that number anymore. So it's worth noting that this variable is outside of our functions now, so it's essentially acting as a global variable, meaning it can be accessed anywhere in our program. The convention in Python would normally be to name global variables in all uppercase, but for the sake of being consistent with our formula at the top there, I'm going to leave it as a lowercase c for now. So let's start with our main function. So we need to take input from the user, and that's just going to be the mass. So we can just use m for that, and we'll put that inside a variable. But we need to make sure that mass is actually an integer, so we can do all of our mathematic operations on it later, because by default input is going to return a string to us. To do this, we can use Python's built-in int function. So I can just wrap this around the input function. And what that's going to do is going to cast the string that input will return into an int for us so that we can use it later on. Okay, next we need to call our calculate function. We'll pass that the argument mass. And since all we're looking to do is print the return value of this to the screen, we can just put the whole thing inside of a print statement. So we can say print, and we can say E for energy, and then put our function call here. And finally our calculate function. So if all we're doing is mc squared, we can simply return mass times c to the power of 2. So let's go over to our terminal and give this a quick test. So einstein.py, and let's test it with the number 14. And we get back a really long number. You're going to have to trust me on this one. I've tested it before and everything is working fine, but that is just far too many numbers for me to read. So that was Einstein. As always, feel free to leave your solution in the comments down below. Give the video a thumbs up if you found it useful and subscribe for more content.